I'm Bobby.
I'm Nathan.
And this could
definitely be a podcast.
Right now.
Right now, doing it?
Oh, you can't multitask?
Nobody can multitask.
Nobody can?
Nobody can. Not high-level functioning multitasking.
Well, what's high-level functioning, though?
Driving a car and texting at the same time.
That's true. That's dangerous, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's impossible. So our brains literally can't. And we lose information and we lose focus in between. As we switch from one task to another, we can't. We lose information. We can't lose that gap in time.
I don't know, because I consider myself, I understand in the short term, like in the short little bursts of multitasking, but when I have to jump from like video editing to real estate and pop back and forth between that on like multiple times in a given day, where it's like shutting off this part of your brain to do this, and then you have to turn this part of your brain on to do that. I
think that's understandable. I think the multitasking most people are thinking about would be watching TV and texting, or I'm listening to music, but also I'm listening to a lecture, but I'm also writing an email. Right? You're not.
Yeah. If I'm writing an email, I generally have to shut off, because you know me, I have a show on at any point in time of the day.
And that's your white noise.
That's my white noise.
The Office is your white noise.
Yeah. Or
America's white noise. That's what I like to call it.
That's what it is. But anything that's on, I've seen it enough times that I don't have to pay attention to it, but I like it on.
It's comfort. It's a warm blanket for you.
Yeah, but if I have to like type an email, for sure, some of them are so formulaic where I can get through it without.
Sure.
But some of them where I'm like, no, I got to really pay attention to what I'm doing. Let's just pause this real quick, because I don't need to hear this joke again. But
you got to hear the joke again?
I don't need to hear the joke again. So
yeah, it's
more important to write a composed email than it is to hear Michael Scott's millionth joke. That's what she said.
I think the best example of not being able to multitask is turning down the radio as you're looking for a house address.
Oh, see, I mean,
I'm driving around.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a house. Okay, what number is it? What street am I looking for? You turn down the radio and you hone in and you focus.
How often do you listen to the radio anymore? I mean...
Oh, no, but I'll stop my podcast or whatever.
You'll stop your podcast?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, because again, a song is different than a podcast. I mean, again,
I'm limiting my input.
And maybe it's just me being a musician for so many years, but like I can shut off a song in my head and not pay attention to it. But a podcast, I'm like, I want to hear that information. So
do you shut it off while you're performing?
Do I shut off hearing the song?
Yeah, while you're performing. Do you shut off your brain while you're performing and think about other things?
Oh, I'm looking at a ton of different things.
You are not giving the audience the full experience. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, no. I'm paying attention to your every move. I'm making sure that you have an environment that is cultivated specifically for your,
but
desires.
You're not focusing on the music, Bobby. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, no, it's that I'm that good of a musician. I can focus on other things. I think most performers do that. It becomes, once a song or any kind of performance becomes like the back of your hand, then you can really focus on the other things that are going out there.
Sure.
You can see if someone's, leaning into talk. That was the whole thing. Like, because again, we're not trying to like blow people out of the water. But if like people are like leaning into talk, having a tough time talking with each other in a room, I'll keep an eye out for that.
That's interesting.
I'll keep an eye out if people are, if they have the look of like their heads nodding, oh man, I really like this song or something like that.
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye out for that. And then the one thing I mainly take a look out for is the drunk bitch that wants to dance way too close to me. That's the one I can't stand, and I got to shut that shit down right away.
Ma'am, you can dance. Just, you have to be at least 10 feet away from me.
A safe distance. I was social distancing long before any of this going on with the drunk girls dancing. But it's like a moth to a flame. If a drunk girl wants to dance, they want to come up as close to you as humanly possible and then start, get this, spinning around. And it's like, no, that's the worst dance move to do right now.
Followed by the sound,
woo! That's usually like the indicator. That's like the primal scream that you hear.
Woo!
Yeah, it's just woo! That's the kind of like, there's more of a, I don't know.
A little bit higher register?
An inflection like in the middle, like a woo! that kind of thing.
Oh, it goes up.
Yeah, that usually indicates I've had way too many
drunk girl woo,
like rum and diets or whatever the hell they're drinking, and then it's God save you if you're playing a song that they like. That's the one nice thing about music kind of dying, where we don't, in my eyes, is that I don't stay up to date with contemporary music, but I'd imagine if I played some T Swift song, and
I have not listened to a single song from T Swift, but then again, that goes back to like
you've listened to a T Swift song. What are you talking about?
I mean, not like a recent, like her new album.
Yeah, but
she just dropped. It just dropped.
Oh,
it just dropped.
Awesome! Wow.
Congratulations. No. What do you mean? To T Swift?
To T Swift.
Yeah, T Swift. Yeah, congratulations. She needs it from us. She needs that affirmation.
She does. She's been waiting for it for a while. But again, the drunk girl dancing at a show is one of the most dangerous things we can run into. Right behind that is the drunk dude that wants to fight, but that's very rare to see.
That's interesting. Okay. I'm trying to tie this into a podcast, Freakonomics podcast that I listened to just recently because I finally got back to my back catalog of the negativity bias, right?
The negativity bias.
We are pre-programmed to focus on the negativity. Okay? It's as humans
in general,
where we like amplify negative comments more than we amplify positive comments. We focus on our headwinds. We don't celebrate and recognize our tailwinds, right? Where things are pushing us and we're happy. Our good times don't feel nearly as good as how bad times are feel. Okay. So, do drunk girls just like have their negativity bias turned off? That part is just clicked off for them.
They're like give a shitter. Is that what you mean?
Well, no. Like if drunk. I don't know. Hey, I don't like your dancing.
Oh, I've insulted many of them. I mean, it's a whole process.
But does it immediately shut down?
No. It usually turns to anger. But also
as compared to I like your dancing. Like those things.
Let me
go on.
Clarify this because I think a lot of people are going to misunderstand what I'm saying. When
I'm not like you,
it's fine. That's fine. But don't like me for the right reasons. Okay. So when I'm performing, I'm usually like sitting down and stuff like that. And generally, there's not a stage. So usually you're on the same level.
You're same level performer.
Same level performer. So when they crash into me, I'm already in a disadvantage. They're already above me. They're falling into my equipment. They're falling into and it's happened multiple times.
I believe you. I know this. I understand.
So when we're performing on a stage and drunk girls are dancing or, just drunk people
you
are
go
dancing,
to town.
It's a free for all. Yeah. I will play everything you want to hear. I don't care because I'm above
better.
you.
I'm above you. I'm better than you.
But that's why stages exist. So you don't.
Yeah, sure.
We can look it up. But
no.
But when I'm on the same level and they're getting their whirly-bird drunk dancing, because they always have a drink in their hand too. That's the other thing, where I start to spin with no control, and I have an open drink here, and that's just going to fly everywhere, and they don't care.
They don't care.
And usually they're not alone. It's very rare just one drunk girl dancing. Yeah. Usually at least three, and they're all kind of, I don't know. They're dancing to the one song. So I've gone through different moments of after the first few had fallen into me and like destroyed stuff.
Stuff?
Yeah, like we were playing a show and I had my songbook and everything like that, and that was on just the like reference of the songs and everything like that.
Oh no, you don't. No, you can pretend.
Well, what?
That you know every song.
Well, I know a lot of them, but anyway, she fell into that. She broke the music stand.
She broke your music stand.
She broke the music stand, and then in the middle of the show, all the pages flew out of onto the stage, and I'm like, "Fuck, that's like a lot of work."
Now I gotta put it back together.
I gotta put all this back together, and it can't happen tonight.
And she was gone.
And she's like, "Well, sorry," and then just gets up and walks away.
Goes out into the ether of the night.
Yeah. I've had drinks spilled on like my pedals. Like I have a nice looper pedal that it's like $300 and been dump beer and stuff on and everything, and
you
have to stop the show.
I'm sure. What is it, frying shit?
Yeah, in that situation we cut the song. I'm like, stop right now, hard cut, and then unplug everything, turn it upside down, everything, just shake it out. And I was like, fuck. And they don't care because they're just like,
They don't know
the
that's
songs go
like a
what?
$200 pedal or
No.
I don't know how much pedals cost.
That was like $250 is what that one was when I bought it. But
Yeah.
also
That's not a frequently used prize on Price is Right or
It's
Supermarket
not.
Sweep.
no,
But I can guess.
no. But now you can.
No, I can.
Yeah.
That's $250.
Yeah, the Boss Loop Station.
That's $250. The Boss
Boss
Loop, yeah.
Yeah, that's like $250, but
$250. Okay.
so now you know.
Now I know.
Be like
Do you
a
need
weird,
some kind of screen, like some kind of plexiglass screen for your
I always wanted to play in front of like the Blues Brothers like chicken wire.
chicken wire?
I always thought that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Without the people throwing shit at you. But again, if I have a stage and screen, I'm going to play the things I think you want to hear.
I think there's also like a similar scene from Howard the Duck.
Oh, yeah? It's been since the first time I watched Howard the Duck.
It's been a long time since I've seen Howard the Duck. Also, I remember like it was referenced in a Who's the Boss episode where they showed Howard the Duck on the plane. So that's how you know how bad her plane ride was.
On Who's the Boss?
On Who's the Boss.
She was watching Howard the Duck?
Yeah, Alyssa Milano like took a plane to go to somebody's funeral and was like, "How was the plane ride?" It's pretty bad. They showed Howard the Duck.
Oh.
Hold for laughs.
I don't know. As a kid, I don't remember hating it.
I remember like hearing that joke and be like, "Man, Howard the Duck must be awful." And then
have you ever seen it?
And then what? I really need to like find a better way of saying this. I have watched, I want to say a majority, if not all of Howard the Duck on the Saturday afternoon matinee on like television with commercials.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if
I think it's much raunchier than the Saturday matinee.
So I think like between me watching it as a child and B, watching it in not the true form, the director wanted it in not its true form. I'm not sure if I've actually seen it. You know?
That's fair.
I don't know if I have.
I remember going to a sleepover, and it's weird, you have a lot of sleepovers as a kid.
Yeah.
But this one stuck out
a
lot.
Sure. I mean, if you got friends.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. If you have friends, you can go to sleepovers. But I remember I specifically remember this sleepover.
Yeah.
We watched Howard the Duck, and I think we watched it at night and then again in the morning because we liked it that much.
Oh, interesting.
And it was at that time
because what's her name? Leah
Thompson.
Leah Thompson.
Yeah. Tim Robbins? I didn't remember
Tim Robbins.
I didn't know Tim Robbins at the time.
And also Jeffrey Jones.
Jeffrey Jones.
Who's Jeffrey Jones? You might have seen it from Tuned In.
Yeah. He's that
Stay
guy.
Tuned.
No, he's one of those many that guy. Oh, that guy.
He was on Stay Tuned.
He
played the devil's assistant in the Stay Tuned.
He was also the principal and
he was also
Day Off.
Rooney.
And also was arrested for
sexual
assault or something.
No, it was pedophilia.
Was it pedophilia?
It was pedophilia. Let's see here. After
2002, had been accused of hiring a 14-year-old boy to pose for sexually explicit photographs. He was charged with one felony count of employing a minor for purpose of taking sexually explicit photos and a misdemeanor count of possessing child pornography and released on $20,000 bail. That seems like not a lot of money for bail.
Yeah. Also, I don't know, maybe he's not rich.
He was placed on the sex offender registry, given 5 years probation in order to undergo counseling. The misdemeanor charge of possession or control of a child pornography was
dropped. He's also a member of the Beta Theta Phi fraternity, FYI.
That's right below that one for some reason.
He played Hamlet in 2nd grade. Noted.
Okay. It's a weird list of
here's my question. Can you go ahead and just look up his net worth just so I can see if that $20,000
was really
is really, appropriate?
I'll pose this here real quick too. How many other Jeffrey Joneses do you think we're going to get before we get to
Oh no. If you go Jeffrey Jones net worth, I don't know. Can't think of any other Jeff Jones. Maybe that one who played for the Astros. Right?
Yeah, there's a good chance. Let's think here. Oh, we had number 1. Yep.
Place of birth, Buffalo, New York.
$100,000 to $1 million. That's a shitty range. That's not true. My God.
What was his back end for
Ferris Bueller's
Ferris Bueller? 1.5 mil. Huh. So if he would not be able to be one of the bachelors on Who Wants to Marry a Multimillionaire. Is that what I'm hearing?
It's the interesting related net worths of
Neil McDonough,
and then Thomas F. Wilson, and then
Daphne Zuniga. Who is that?
Was she on Gilmore Girls? It looks like she's the lady from Gilmore Girls.
Once again, can you tell these white people apart?
No, she was
Family
not.
Ties.
One Tree Hill. She was on. Okay.
Okay. See, okay. I thought it looked a lot like Xena Warrior Princess. What's her name?
Oh, Lucy Lawless.
Lucy Lawless. She could pass for like an older Lucy Lawless right now.
Lucy Lawless looks completely different than she did as Xena.
I mean, just like with her blonde hair. Is that the last thing you saw her? She was
on Parks and Rec. She played Ron Swanson's wife.
Oh yeah.
And it took me multiple viewings to be like, oh,
that's Lucy Lawless.
That's Lucy Lawless. Wow.
That's Xena Warrior Princess.
Forgot Xena and everything, but
I remember what was the Spartacus Stars TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever watch that?
No, I was a Hercules guy.
Through. Well,
Kevin Sorbo all the way.
That's Xena Warrior Princess. Xena and Hercules were both.
Hercules came first.
Xena
was a tie-in.
What's the word?
Remember that specifically.
They were both.
They were brother-sister sitcoms.
Sure. Well, no. Anyhow, Spartacus was the Stars show.
Had nothing to do with Xena.
It has nothing to do with that. No, it was a remake of the story of Spartacus. Anyhow, it was basically softcore.
Oh, porn.
And
and
Lucy Lawless was there.
Yeah. And I feel that's what like Stars and Cinemax and Showtime.
Stars and Cinemax, they lean into that softcore. They really do. Mm-hmm. Well, as our wives are downstairs watching
Outlander
right
which
now.
Is softcore porn.
Which has several elements of softcore pornography to it, which I find interesting. Yeah, Spartacus, it was all right. I remember enjoying it.
Because of the softcore porn aspect? Or?
No, that was always can we just go back to fighting and stuff? Because I feel like it's like a Quidditch match in Harry Potter. You don't care. Where it's just like literally we're going to stop everything going on and we're just going to spend 15 minutes on this.
Is it the porn or the fighting that they stop and then just go to?
They stop the fighting to go and have like a 5-minute porn scene.
Gotcha.
And it's basically like Quidditch. Where it's
I thought that's why
we stop everything comes to an absolute halt, and we're gonna live in this in the moment thing that's happening right now for 10 to 15 minutes.
I thought that's what Game of Thrones got right. It's just the when to place the porn, when to timely place the sex and everything.
Right.
Because it was really well done.
The sex was just absolutely perfect.
As John Oliver said in Community, they got the incest real right.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
You don't agree that they did
got the incest just right? There wasn't enough birth defects.
Well,
here's the deal.
I'm not British. I don't know.
The birth defects are actual physical defects usually and mental stuff.
Well, it was a fictional world, so we don't know if the same rules
We don't
apply.
know. We don't know if genetics apply the same.
Yeah, we can't assume that.
Hold on. We do know because listen, Robert Baratheon, all of his children had dark black hair.
Just because one element of our world
and all
translates into
and all the
Lannisters
world. Were golden blondes. So
it doesn't mean that certain things like the incestual deformities.
We don't know how deformities work in Westeros.
Yeah.
We
have to ask George R.R. Martin that.
That's the first thing I'm going to ask him. Okay.
Do incest deformities exist?
Deformities no, but I remember. So
hold on one second.
Go on.
I mean, Joffrey was clearly something was wrong with him. I mean,
who?
Joffrey Baratheon, which was. Man, it's been a while. Jaime and Cersei's child.
Which one?
The Joffrey Baratheon, the one that the mad, not the Mad King, but the little son of a bitch that was poisoned at his wedding.
Yeah, he wasn't. There wasn't anything wrong with him. He was a spoiled brat.
I think there was a lot of things wrong with him.
No, he was a spoiled brat. That's a very nurture over nature situation there, and not
had nothing to do with his brother and sister or his mom being brother and sister.
Who are the bad people? Who's the Mad King? It was What was that family name?
Baratheon.
No.
Targaryen.
Targaryen. The Targaryen. So like the Targaryen family history that George R.R. Was that called like Fire and Blood? I don't remember.
Yeah.
That like family history. They talked about like there is a couple like babies that came out and they swear they were dragons. They were like scaly and stuff like that.
But that's bestiality. That's not incest.
I don't think they had sex with dragons.
Who knows? We never got
who's
to that.
To say?
Didn't that HBO series get picked up? Wasn't it the history of the Targaryens?
Maybe. It was interesting. Like that was a book that was not meant to be consumed through audio. Like that needed to be like set down and have the book in front of you with a family tree. And I was like, as I was listening to this book on audio, I was like, okay, who the fuck are they talking about right now? Because everybody's name sounds the absolute fucking same. Because it's a family. It's a family. And trying to honor
it has nothing to do with their race.
It's a family coming from a distinct region, so everybody's name sounds the same. I mean, I bet you could say like a lot of Italian people's names.
I get what you're saying. You don't
sound the same.
Yes, you don't.
Right?
Yeah.
So the Targaryens, a lot of people's names fucking sounded the same.
Mm-hmm.
This is like, who the fuck are they talking about right now? What's going on? Man, I need some kind of like diagram to explain whose kid is this and what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that. What the fuck am I? Who are you talking about?
Yeah.
All right. And then I'm like, and then I was at a bookstore and I found that book. I'm like, oh man, I really like that book. And then I like picked it up and started looking. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Did they give you a family tree with it?
There's a family tree right here. This is like, oh, this would have been beneficial for me to have in front of me as I'm listening to this. Because otherwise I'm like, who are they talking about?
Well, again, talking about multitasking, like that's not a situation where you're listening to a book and even like driving a car.
Right.
Because you're going to fade in and fade out of that so much, you're going to lose.
Sure.
You're obviously going to pay attention to driving.
And also, like, that book in particular was, okay, I'm going to read the Wikipedia page on this family.
Mm-hmm.
And every so often we'll dip in and tell a little story, a little narrative. But this is literally just a Wikipedia page about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was much differently, like as far as a storytelling
presented.
It was much different compared to the rest of Game of Thrones series.
I did see recently a person driving a very large pickup truck, like like one of those souped up pickup trucks and everything. Yeah. And they had the above the windshield decal, just fire and blood. And I was like, wow,
is that a Game of Thrones?
That's like, is that a Game of Thrones reference, or am I missing something like, else?
Is there some kind of white supremacist or some kind of
it's like only two things that matter.
Some kind of segregation or some kind of radical separation revolutionary people that are into fire and blood that I don't know about, and probably there is. Leave a comment below and I'll tell you.
or don't. But that's fine.
Or you don't have to. Whatever you do, don't link or send me messages about where to find more about
fire and blood.
Well, no, not the George R.R. Martin book.
We already established that. It's not that. We don't want to know.
I want to know more about George R.R. Martin's book and like his thought process.
What are your thoughts on what do you call those? I mean, like it's not a car. Is it it's because that's not a sticker. Obviously, that's like
it's a decal.
A decal. I mean,
decal is the phrase.
Yeah.
What's my opinion on it?
Yeah.
I don't.
You and I aren't car guys.
Once again, I am not someone who's really into telling people, "Hey, how I feel." Ask my wife. Telling people, like announcing and informing people, and like I want people to know what I think about X, Y, or Z. Mm-hmm. And I understand the irony of that. I've had I've got a podcast.
That's fine.
I don't believe in bumper stickers.
But you're also not blaring your podcast from your car 24/7, which I feel like a decal or
that's what it is.
I mean, even a bumper sticker. Have you ever had a bumper sticker on a car?
No, because
I've been guilty of having bumper stickers, but
the only reason I'd have a bumper sticker if it was like completely, absolutely ironic and like done as a joke, as a complete joke.
But even then, you have to have the sticker on. You have to have all the time. You have to live the joke,
right?
And
that's not me because once again, I'll never get a tattoo because I don't believe in the permanency of it. Mm-hmm. Says the guy with 5 kids and a wife.
Mm-hmm. They could leave at any moment. Don't worry.
It's like, I'm ready to walk out. No, it's not my wife. I love my wife.
But also,
but yeah,
I mean, something like I even find it with graphic tees and everything like that. Like my wife,
sure,
has recently bought me a couple new shirts, and it's the first time she's ever bought me shirts.
Like joke shirts?
No, just like bought me shirts.
A shirt?
Yeah, I'm wearing it currently.
Oh yeah.
Dangerous situation. My wife goes to Target alone, which is dangerous for any person's wife. But
my wife.
Yeah, but she went and she came back. She's like, I got you shirts, and it's the first time she ever bought me shirts. And then she's like, I almost bought you this Nirvana shirt, but then I thought about it, and I was like, I don't think you wouldn't want that. I was like, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for thinking this through.
Yeah, and that's why I love her. But it's one of those things that's a statement that you're making, and I'm never gonna walk around. I'll wear my Wilco T-shirt that no one knows it's a Wilco T-shirt.
Sure.
That I bought at a concert, but
that's
I don't
a total
need to
mom
wear,
move.
I don't
by the
need
way.
to what buying me shirts.
No, like I know you like this, so I got you a shirt with it.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. And I have many of those shirts that my mom has given me. So
I know you like this.
I know you like this, so here, wear it. And I don't need to wear a Target edition Nirvana shirt that Kurt Cobain would just roll over in his grave, being like, "What the hell?"
The only shirt I have like that is the shirt that I bought in high school of the Thundercats, because I really like the Thundercats, and that's still in rotation.
But
today.
I feel, was that from like a Target or
it might have been Gadzooks or
that I feel
or
like
Hot Topic or something like that. I mean,
that was the front lines of it, of the ironic cool T-shirt.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I guess
I don't
that's
know if cool.
But that's what it's coming off of. I mean, all the people wearing like a Super Mario Brothers T-shirt or something, or a Star Wars T-shirt or something like that, like
vintage cool stuff, and that's.
But I feel like that's a statement, and if I'm walking down the street, that's a statement that I'm making. I have to live with it.
I want you to know that I know what Mario is, and you should know that I know what Mario is, and that Mario is a thing.
Right, and I think that's. I mean, to an even greater extent, having a car decal of really anything. I mean,
but that's a day in, day out choice.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's to an even greater level. You're driving around. I always see like the in memoriam decals and everything like that, where that's the best. Yeah. That's the best way to
memorialize
your, whoever it is in your life.
Yeah, I no, that's not something I'm into.
How much would that even cost?
To buy like 100 in memoriam decals? That's a great question. Yeah, I don't put bumper stickers. I did for a long period of time in high school. I mean, it started off with wearing I had a Twinkies shirt.
But we're talking what
and a Mr. Bubble shirt.
What years are we talking here? Because this
we're talking. Well, I would say we're talking actually 8th grade. 8th grade. So 1996/7 through, I don't know, 99, 2000, and then I got into vintage shirts, and that's like going to garage sales and going to the rerun store and buying shirts, and it was, and for me, I became a very snobby purchaser of vintage shirts. Okay. And I had a whole criteria. Like, I don't want a white shirt because white's the cheapest shirt you can buy in bulk. I
want to put a pin in this right now here real quick because I want to get back to this as well. But it's even worse than we thought. The in memoriam decal is a $5 to $10 purchase. Yeah. Which here I was thinking it was I'm sure custom.
I bet you can get a bulk. I bet if you went through an actual a vendor, if you went to your screen printing shop, they've got they know how to get these in bulk, and I bet you can get that down to $2. You can purchase those at bulk for $2 a piece.
That makes the memoriam even that much.
But they also sell it.
But I'm saying it's not even it's not even a financial investment that you're giving.
Here's the deal. I bet. I'm going to go out on a limb here that most people, if I'm selling a decal of my beloved best friend, right?
Yeah. Tony.
Yeah. In loving memory of Tony.
Cystic fibrosis.
May he ride with the angels. 1983 to 1776. I would sell those for $10, and I'd take the $8 and then put it into some kind of memorial or scholarship or some horseshit, or for his kids, because that's the saddest part about Tony's death is the kids he left behind.
Yeah. Anyway, so
yeah, so criteria of vintage
yeah.
T-shirts. It was, and granted, this was like 2000, so I really wanted anything from 1990 or older if it had a date on it.
Yeah, I'm right with you, man.
Wanted not white shirt.
Just because it would last longer?
No, because like white is the cheapest color to purchase in bulk.
What specific? I mean, were you just looking for time-stamped shirts from this specific age, or were you looking for like band T-shirts?
I was always looking for something weird.
Yeah. Something.
So here's the deal, and I can remember this. I call it the 3 C's.
Okay.
Like this is a full-on thing.
You wait, man. I'm right here with you.
Cut, color, and content.
Okay.
Cut, if it's an odd cut, if it's a ring shirt, if it's a V-neck, if it's like if it has seams down the sides where it was 2 pieces sewn together where it was older. Okay, that's good. That's really solid. Color, we're talking about also like type of fabric also goes into color. So if I want something a little bit softer, or how thread worn is it? Right. Is it not white? What color is it? Is it an odd color? Is it a brown? Is it whatever? And then content, where it's okay. Like literally, I have it goes against my number system before 1990. It was the 1993 Orthogenesis Eastern Tour.
Okay.
And it was a red shirt, and like, what the fuck is an orthogenesis? And it was like, it's like somebody who studies evolution.
Okay.
And
they were just going on a tour.
And it was like Eastern Tour, but it also and it was like Detroit, and I want to say also Minneapolis was also on the list as well. And it was just like the Eastern Seaboard, pretty much, well, everything like east of the Mississippi, and it had a whole list of
Minneapolis, but yeah.
So content.
Yeah.
I mean, content. I've got a wonderful pink shirt for like a Taekwondo tournament from like 89.
Gotcha.
That has like all of the like it's got a guy in a karate outfit, but his skin pigment is like bright orange. Stuff like that. Okay. I mean, those were my 3 C's.
My years of going thrift shopping and searching for fairly similar content. I always go through, and mine was the consistency of the shirt. Because I always found, like, I would imagine the shirts that you just described, those were a heavier shirt, I would imagine.
A little bit heavier,
right?
Yeah.
So I always liked, if I could find a soft shirt, that would fit and everything. I remember I had one, it was a women's soccer shirt that I found in the men's section of Goodwill, because that's how well it's, done. Because they don't read them or anything like that. But it said one more goal. That's all it did. It said one more goal on the back. Nothing else.
Yeah.
And there was like a little indicator of the school and girls soccer in the back.
That's it.
And I was in it. The fabric was so amazing. And I was like, I'm like this. Yeah. One more goal. Sure.
Just one more goal.
And there was nothing else to it. And I was like, this is nice. I had that shirt for fucking ever.
And as I said,
one of my favorites.
I'll go through as I'm looking through pictures, like old Facebook pictures, they'll pop up and stuff. And it's just like, what happened to that shirt? Because that was a really good shirt.
Oh yeah, I had another one that was I found it was I Heart Maine, and it was some place in Maine, and again similar fabric. And it was great. I Heart Maine, and the amount of people in my time of owning that shirt that came up to me like, "You from Maine? Are you from Maine?" I'm like, never been actually.
You never been to Maine?
I've never been to Maine. I got to go because I love this shirt so much. I almost want to go. I forget where it was in Maine, but. The amount of times, it wasn't Bangor, and it wasn't Portland. It was something with an N. But the amount of times I'd be walking down the street in various different places and be like, "Hey, Maine. I'm like, yeah.
I mean, listen, if I was in Louisiana and I saw somebody with a Tiger Hawk shirt, I'm not going to yell at them across the street. But
Happened a lot.
But if I happen to like walk past them, hey, guess from Iowa? I'd do that.
And we did that. When we were in New York last year. We were waiting out a rainstorm at the Yankee Tavern, and we heard these guys next to us they were talking about Des Moines, and they're like,
gorgeous,
right? So, and normally I'm not one to do that, but it was, it felt right. So we struck up a conversation, and they were like, oh yeah, Dubuque, yeah, absolutely. But anyway, I want to go back to the thrift store shops.
Sure.
Do you have a favorite shirt that you ever found at a thrift store?
Oh,
or like your best find where you're like, holy shit, I cannot believe I found this.
Do I still have it? I think I might still have it. Because I took all the shirts because of course I've become obese since high school, and like I can't get rid of this shirt.
Yeah,
because it's just so good.
I'm either gonna get back into it or it's just gonna stay.
It's just gonna And so it's like literally in a bin, and I've got this sweet windbreaker.
Okay.
From the Casa de, what was it? It was Casa de something like an RV camper park.
Okay.
In Tempe, Arizona.
All right.
And it's just like this awful poop brown.
Just the windbreaker top, or
windbreaker and with yellow lettering on it. And, and it's just like it's just perfect. Just I love gorgeous. It. Yeah. I mean, I bought some like plaid polyester pants over the years as well. I'm really big fan of off-color stitching. Like,
yeah, me too.
Like me that's too. Like, I'm like, yep, that's exactly what I need right now.
I remember I found when I was in high school, because every once in a while you could go to like a Goodwill or a thrift shop and see like when the new batch of clothes came in, or like when they would release someone's mom cleaning out their son or daughter's closet.
Estate sales.
Yeah, stuff like that. And we were going through and I found a White Zombie t-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
And again, before Amazon, you'd have to like order in a magazine to get a White Zombie t-shirt in Dubuque, Iowa.
Yes.
Because you couldn't go to Yonkers and buy one, or you had to go see White Zombie and play. And I remember I found one. I was like, oh my God. And then you just hold it. Because I had my buddies with me too. Like, if I would have let that thing go, they would have gone to them, and then I could watch them wear it all the time. But no, I snagged that one up. And then I had a buddy much later on, was getting married, and I didn't own a suit. I was like, I have this weird approach to thrift shops where I feel like if I need something and I go to a thrift shop, it's going to present itself to me. It's going to be there. I'm going to find it. If I go, so in this situation, we're looking for, I'm like, I need a suit. I need a nice suit. I need a suit that looks like it was actually tailored for me, not tailored for, a man much larger than me or smaller than me and everything like that. And I found this sweet multi-fabric, off-color brown and white 3-piece suit.
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Sport jacket.
Yes.
It was a power suit. I bought it. I was like, and then with that, I bought, again, because I didn't have a suit, I also didn't have like a button-down collared shirt or a tie or shoes or socks to go with it.
What kind of hobo person are you living?
I was a young musician that didn't have a need for any of these things. I wear sandals and a t-shirt. So in that same...
Lots changed since then, by the way.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Wearing sandals and a t-shirt. But so in that one purchase, I found that 3-piece suit.
Yeah.
And again, it was gorgeous. I found a shirt that matched it. I found a tie that went with the whole ensemble. And I found shoes that went with it. I wore my own socks.
That's amazing.
Went there and I was like, it's still to this day my favorite suit. And
that's amazing.
I just hold on to it because I
just hold on to it.
Never let this thing go.
Never let it out of your sight. For some reason, it makes me think. So, when I in college at Loras College, I was big into the theater department. I really enjoyed it. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But my roommate, also in theater, and we'd go scour the costume shop because, we just asshole kids. Here's the other thing. Like, my time at Loras College as a Loras player, like me and Don Amici.
Yeah.
Two of a kind. Anyhow, after my freshman year, I was given a job. I was a stagehand. I was like stage crew person, and I was the student worker. So I had keys to the theater, and so that means just access to it all the time. It was amazing. I loved it. Like that really was a really great part of my college experience. Anyhow, the point is, we'd go through the costume shop, and it's just like, okay, clearly somebody at some point donated a large quantity of tuxedos,
right?
That were pastel. Like,
oh, fun.
There was blue and pink.
We're talking like late 80s pastel?
No, like early 70s.
Okay.
Early 70s, late 70s
gotcha.
Pastel. And pastel, there was yellow, pink, blue. I don't remember, was there another one or not? I don't think there. Maybe there was just like a red.
Talking bell bottoms in as well, or
no, the pants were black, but the suit jackets.
Okay.
But also like with velvet lapels.
Yeah.
And it's really awesome. So we got into the habit of pilfering the costume shop, and my roommate, he was a smaller stature dude. He found that at some point a dentist died and donated all of his suits to the college.
Gotcha.
And they fit him like a fucking glove.
When you find the suit that fits you, it's like, this is mine now.
But they were all like handmade. And there was like 10 of them. And just like inlaid patterns on the inside jackets. And all 3-piece with pants, suit coat, and vest. And he probably ended up taking like 3 or 4 home.
Rightfully so.
I mean, it's like, this is not going to get used.
No.
Clearly, this is not going to get used, so it's okay.
Well, and if the suit fits you perfectly, kind of like the suit that I found at the thrift shop, like, this is mine now.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to cost me, love that thrift shop. It's like $5. It's going to cost me to get a 3-piece suit.
Where were you? Just by the way.
This is the Mission Thrift down in Dubuque, Iowa, in the main street.
Oh, okay.
But again, that's what I love about a thrift shop, and it's the same way across the country. I've been through many of thrift shops and Goodwills and everything. Goodwills are a little more like,
stay away from Goodwill. I think they're too marked up.
You go to the mom and pop thrift shop or pawn shop. I mean, pawn shop won't have the clothes, but
right.
But I remember when I first got a record player, we used to go around garage sailing. I hate the morning, but I will get up for golf in a garage sale.
Golf in a garage sale
if I need to. And we found a record player for $20, and it was one of the old like 1950s. This is part
like
of your living room set.
Like giant console.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
giant console. It's still downstairs in my living room, but yeah, like one of the centerpieces of a living room. This is our record player, and I found it, and again, in the miracles of a garage sale, we're driving around in a 4-door sedan. Like, we can't haul this thing away. I'm like, I'll pay you $20. Let me find a truck, So
Sure.
we have to round up a truck. I even forget. I think it was a buddy of mine who had a truck that we ended up getting, loaded it up, and I was like, okay, now we got to go find records and everything like that. And we went to this pawn shop that we'd been going to forever. And you walk in, and it's kind of like the pawn shop they go to in It's Always Sunny. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't remember that episode.
Where Mac and Charlie die. They fake their own death.
No,
anyway.
I don't remember this.
Very shady, but you can find anything. Like, if you want to find poppers, yeah. If you want to find an off-brand Gibson guitar, it's there. There's also like a hand drill. Like, it's just whatever you can think of. It's all over the place. And so we go there, and they had known us for a while. There's these kids that come in. I'm like, hey, do you guys have any records here? And he's like, yeah, follow me. And he goes and he opens up a door in the floor that we had never, trap door in the floor. And we're just dumb kids. We're like, all right, go. This is not weird. Let's just go downstairs. Yep, absolutely. And we go downstairs, and it is just wall-to-wall records, like all throughout this basement. And he's just like, have at it. And he goes upstairs and just leaves us alone. We spend the rest of the day there, and we're just going through, looking through all these records and everything like that. And just, we come up with stacks, higher than our head.
Stacks of wax.
Stacks on stacks on stacks. And we set them down, and this is my favorite thing with the good thrift shop. You set it down, the guy just looks at it.
Just eyes it up.
And he goes, $5.
Perfect.
And I'm like, deal. And we would do that, and it would only be certain guys that would do that. Some of the guys would go through and check it out and everything. Yeah, but you get that guy that just stares at and Nothing's going through his brain. Nothing, just $5.
$5.
Yep.
Yeah, that reminds me a lot of one of the convents in town. Every garage sale day here in town, it's like literally everything's open, and you just go through. People have donated stuff, and you can walk up with piles of stuff. You set it down, and they're like, "Well, what do you think it's worth?"
Yeah.
I'm like, I think this feels like $10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was $10.
Exactly.
I got a problem. I picked up I didn't pick up a camera there. I picked up a projector screen there.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a real problem with collecting vintage AV equipment. It's
tremendous value.
It's a real it's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. No one wants it. So
nobody wants it. It's a problem.
It's not a bad thing to collect, I guess, other than your lack of storage.
Lack of storage. That and I've got a couple of reel-to-reel players that are absolutely ridiculously heavy. Like, they're really heavy. I can't put them on anything. Like, I can't put them on a shelf. I'm gonna have to do hardcore bracket mounting, 2 studs,
drywall studs,
to really make it work. And that's a problem. Also, I've got a couple. I didn't get them from a garage sale. I've got a couple of FM signal generators.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Like for your own radio station?
Yeah. It's I got them from Isabella's. You weren't in town when Isabella's was in town, right?
I was a little bit, but go on with the FM signals.
So anyway, it was Chad had a couple of FM, and he just had them up as decorations. And when the bar closed down, I happened to be there on the last night, stayed there till close, stayed there after close, and he was just taking stuff down, and I'm just sitting there talking. He's like, oh man, and those things, what is that? He's like, oh, that's this, and I picked it up at a garage sale, and the guy was just getting rid of it, him and Mike Ironside was gonna oh, we're gonna make our own pirate radio station, blah blah blah. It was a joke, and he's like, no, you want them? I'm like, of course.
Yeah, it's amazing the stuff you could find in the garage sale.
It's very cool. I love them, and so it's very, but they're also heavy as shit. They're so heavy, but I love them. I mean, so the big bulky equipment that with lots of knobs and levers and switches and all kinds of nonsense that I'll never use and I'll never actually put to use.
I remember we had.
I'll take it home.
Well, we had
my wife.
What?
My wife doesn't really like it that much, and my children what? Dad, where's this going, Dad? What are you doing with this?
Well, I remember we found an old recording, it was a mixer, but it recorded to tape, which we didn't have, and it could operate as a live mixer as well. We could.
Okay.
It's super primitive, though. I mean,
I would 8-channel.
I would say it was late 60s at best, and it was basically just handed down. Yeah. And someone was selling it. I think we got it for $5. We figured out we couldn't use it.
Where's it at?
Oh, we took it to a pawn shop and sold it for $90. It was great. So, what? In high school, it was great.
Yeah, it'd be a lot cooler in your house right now, though.
Well, that might be the case, but back then, splitting $90 between 3 people.
Yeah.
I was like, cool.
$30.
Let's take this. That's called a profit, bro.
Yeah, I literally.
We didn't call it one, bro.
So every year at the university, we take all of our equipment that we can't use anymore, old PCs and stuff, and we have a guy come and pick it up, and he takes it and scraps it. Yeah. But from that, I took home an old payphone and an old telephone line tester. It looks like a weirdo blood cuff, blood pressure taker.
Oh, okay.
From the early 80s.
I got you.
Okay. That's the buttons and that's the style. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to take this home. And my wife's like, what are you doing? What are you gonna do with this? I'm like, I can't let it just be destroyed.
The payphone I get. Yeah. You can't let the payphone go.
Well,
that's a national treasure.
I still think about. I saw a tube tester for a vacuum tube. It was I saw it at a garage, not at an antique store in Kansas City. It was a vacuum tube testing machine, it was like a large stand-up pedestal thing that you'd go into your local Radio Shack, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, is my tube? My tube bad or not?
Are your parents hoarders?
A little bit.
Like they flirt with hoarding?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's what you're doing.
It's not. The thing is, I appreciate something so much that I don't want it to be destroyed. This is a thing.
You don't have to defend your hoarding. I'm trying to figure out if you.
This is a thing
are or not.
I've never seen before, and will never see again, probably.
Yeah.
And the idea of it being out of my sight.
How much money do you think you've spent on because I know a lot of it's inherited.
Just picking up off the side of the road, from work, stuff like that.
I'm trying to get down to dollars and cents.
Oh, like maybe $100.
Okay. Then that's fair.
I take that back. Well, I'm trying to remember. I went on a weird kick. Like when my wife found was that Macari, like an app that you buy just leftover junk from, and I bought a bunch of Super 8 cameras that are now properly displayed in my living room because they look cool, and that's about it.
That's about it.
Yeah, so maybe
never give you money and let you go on eBay.
Maybe $200. Maybe
that's not bad.
Maybe
that's not bad because if you find a niche thing that a lot of people are just getting rid of. Yeah. Then it just becomes a spatial issue. Yeah. But
there was a great time. It was.
If you're spending a lot of money on it.
I was driving home on a Saturday afternoon, and there was a tables full of shit. It just said free.
It's my favorite table.
And my wife said, "Stop. Let's look at that piano."
Ooh. Now that's rough.
So we stopped to look at the piano.
Every piano's free, by the way.
Yeah. And we were just looking at, and then they had just a ton of AV stuff just sitting around.
So that was technically her fault.
So there was a little old 8mm viewer editor thing, and I'm like, well, I'm a video editor. I think I'd like this. And a couple of projectors and a really weird, Super 8. It came in a cassette, and I've never been able to find the cassettes. It's like a cassette that you put into the projector to play the video. Well, it's not video, it's film. To play the film. And it was like a Super 8 because it had sound on it too. Anyhow, but the only cassettes I could ever find when I looked for it was a bunch of medical, educational films. And it was they wanted $100 for a lot of 50. I'm like, well, no, I can't do that. That's not gonna happen.
Not including the player, or was
no? I had the player.
You had
whether
the player,
or not,
but you
whether
just wanted the film.
I don't know if I ever even checked the bulb on that one. Anyhow, and then so I took all their crap, all of it, and also, then we took home a piano with a busted leg.
Whew. That's a haul.
For free.
Of course, every piano's free.
Every piano. Oh, we still have that piano.
We had a friend. When we got married, they're like, our wedding gift to you is a piano that you have to come pick up. And it's like, that's not a gift. We still have never picked it up. I'm like, no, we have a piano.
Now you have a piano.
But that happened when I went to Arizona over a weekend.
You were gone for a weekend, and your wife just got a piano.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's in your house now.
I don't mind.
Have you had it tuned?
No. But I don't mind having it in my house. I'm trying to think of things that I collect, like you collect video equipment, and I just think by default I collect musical instruments, but it's not I don't collect vintage instruments I don't want to take someone's old piano. We are sitting in a room though. I did buy the Baldwin Fun Machine.
This thing is absolutely perfect, and I love it. And the idea that it's the fun machine. Yeah. You want to talk about content, cut, color, and content? That's content. Yeah. Right there.
That was a good $20 spent.
That's a really solid $20.
Yep. That was a garage sale. Similar, pull over. What the hell is that thing?
It's the fun machine.
It's the fun machine.
And it lights up, right?
Yeah. And that's back when we were still struggling musicians. So I'm like, well, technically, it's a musical instrument. We might be able to get a couple songs out of here. And
this is a tax write-off.
I didn't even know that then. So...
You didn't know about write-offs?
I didn't do my own taxes up until 6-7 years ago, maybe.
Sure.
My mom's an accountant, so I just let
that ride.
Let that ride. I was like, fuck the IRS. They're never gonna get me. And she's like, I'll just do it for you, please. I just don't like. You're gonna
need this.
You're gonna need this. Don't not do taxes.
Yeah.
I do have a buddy that for like 10 years didn't do taxes.
Really?
Yep. And then
that's insane.
Yeah. And then he got a bunch of inheritance, so I hope he did his taxes. So.
Jeez. Well, that's like me. Like the first time, my first year of working, doing freelance.
Yeah.
And I did freelance for like a large corporation,
mm-hmm.
and
they're not going to let you slide.
And like I got my 1099, and I like in my bullshit TurboTax, like I plunked it in. I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Well, that's dumb. That's like
they won't get me.
And then, here's the letter like 6 months later. Hey, by the way, you didn't pay your taxes on this
mm-hmm.
much money, so you owe that plus. Son of a bitch.
They always get you.
I didn't know. I didn't think they'd figure that out. And we were hurt. Mm-hmm. I mean, super young, poor.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if I don't tell them I made this much money, then
I get to keep this money.
I get to keep that money.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do that because I need that money right now.
I've been trying to figure out a way to justify a boat being a tax write-off. Like what we need to do. Similar to like that Keytar video.
Sure.
You showed us the Keytar
Gus
video.
Johnson Keytar video?
Yeah, the Gus Johnson Keytar video where he buys a Keytar and then writes a song to justify the purchase and the tax write-off. I'm like, I thought about that before you showed us the video. I was like, how can I write off a boat? Because if we do a podcast on a boat.
Can we do a boat podcast?
Is it just all about being on a boat? And
yeah.
I mean, technically.
Maybe? I don't know. That's a good question. Can we develop some kind of boat series?
We're going to develop a nautical podcast, and it's going to be about life on the Mississippi.
Ahoy there, neighbor. Is that it?
Just a way, just going to live on a boat or spend a lot of time on a boat. Just as a way to justify a tax write-off.
Go out on that's a good question. With the IRS, if you're an IRS agent, please let us know whether or not that'd be.
No, I'm just going to talk to my tax guy.
You got a tax guy?
Yeah.
And your tax guy is going to tell you about whether or not that boat's a write-off?
Well, I'm going to figure out if he's a good tax guy or not. Because if he says yes, then it'll be like, this guy knows what's up. And if he's like, I don't think we should do this, like, I need a guy with more balls.
I need a guy who's ready to write off a boat on my taxes.
Exactly. I want the Jeff Bezos. We pay zero.
How much should I pay? How much work are you doing on the boat?
Well, and it's also... Yeah, what is research and development? Because that's how Amazon gets around it and everything. Is I'm
research and developing a boat.
They throw everything into R&D, and it's like, well, what does that? Yeah. What does that mean? It's like donating to equality. It's like, well, what the fuck does that mean?
What does that mean? I'm like, okay, if I start a family vlog,
mm-hmm.
does that mean I get to write off all my family vacation trips?
Correct.
As a work expense? I mean, I'm not going to be going to Disneyland. Except for I got a vlog and we're gonna do a thing where we go to Disneyland.
Yeah,
and that's what the creative director says that we should go to.
Yeah,
Disney's so hot.
I think this is Brave New World of tax write-offs where you're like, fuck it, I have a podcast.
I've got a podcast.
Well, we did research and develop to see if a boat podcast would work. Turns out it didn't work, but we still spent money on a boat.
So we got the boat.
So that's a tax write-off.
Right.
I don't know if I want to pay the legal fees to defend it, but I feel it can be defended. I feel
like that can be defended. We were trying to make a boat podcast. Can you show me? Can you show us?
There's 6 months of us trying to make a fucking boat podcast. Here you
it's
go.
Weird. Nobody wanted to listen to the boat podcast. Super weird.
Apparently did not translate to audio as well as we thought. It's really loud. The motor's really loud. We didn't know that.
Also, I thought the lapping sound of the water would be. Yeah. That's a weird sound. That's a weird phrase.
Lapping sound of the water?
Yeah, like the water laps onto. That's a weird phrase.
I mean, in context of strippers?
Yeah, like in the context of your personal lap.
It's like a dog laps up water.
Is that? Well, yeah, you're right. And where does time lapse come?
Isn't that the same spelling? Laps? Like a dog lapping?
I don't think so. I want to say LAPS. The act of lapping is laps, is LAPS. To lap is LAP.
I'll just go to this here real quick and then...
Yeah, just can we just watch videos of dogs lapping water? We'll take you on an audible journey.
Just R&D.
Just R&D.
Lapping water pipe. What the fuck? Here, lapping.
Lapping. Okay. And then don't get me started on shiplap.
Well, let's save that for the boat podcast. Okay. Lapping is a machining process in which two surfaces are rubbed together with an abrasive between them by hand movement or using machine. So that would be like a motor in water and then a tongue in water for a dog.
This can take two forms. The first type of lapping, traditionally called grinding, by the way, it's talking about strippers, involves rubbing a brittle material such as glass against the surface of iron. It's a lap or a grinding tool. Interesting.
So the worlds of mechanical
friction and stripping go hand in hand.
Right there.
In fact, my stripper name was Mechanical Friction. just so you know.
That's a good one.
You can find me on Instagram under Mechanical Friction.
It's just a lot of pole work.
It's just a lot of pole work.
Do you think you'd be more of a pole work dancer, or do you think you'd just be a backroom girl?
It's just technical pole dancing.
Yeah.
Just to its truest form, to its highest level.
Almost a ballet.
Yeah.
Do you find, look, stripper who can work a pole and not just work it for like sexual money is a very talented athlete on stage.
I'm going to say one word, and that is core.
It's all core.
It's all core.
It's all core, which neither of us have anymore.
Oh. Speak for yourself.
You think you had a core? You think you got the core to do pole work?
Just because I've got a large layer of fat on the outside of my stomach doesn't mean I don't have a solid core.
There's a six-pack
under
there somewhere.
I do trunk twists every morning.
But again, enough core work to do solid pole work.
Solid pole work. You give me a month. You give me a month.
I'll give you a month. Okay. Well, we can write off a stripper pole.
Stripper pole?
Yeah. Stripper pole seems like something you should spend the money on. I've seen enough stripper pole fail videos.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen those where the pole gives out?
Well, just because they're not securing it properly. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on a limb here. There's many
user air
stripper pole fails as there are chin up pole up bars fails.
No, not on the internet. Maybe in real life. Maybe they happen in real life.
Not on the internet.
One. But there's no way that people, because again, the stripper pole is already it's already a clickable thing. People already want to see a stripper pole. And then if you put fail right behind it.
I think people just want to see people fall down and hurt themselves.
It's one of the things I like the most about humankind is watching them fall.
Schadenfreude. You're just big on that.
What's that?
You're big on Schadenfreude.
What's that?
Schadenfreude.
Yeah, you keep saying it. I'm asking you what it is.
Are you for real?
Yeah, what is it?
It's like finding pleasure in other people's unpleasantness or demise.
Yeah, then I guess, that's it.
You're not familiar with the German phrase Schadenfreude.
No, I'm not.
Are you being facetious
I'm not being facetious. I've never heard it.
You've never heard of Schadenfreude?
No.
I feel like you're being facetious.
I'm not being facetious. But it's true.
It's a German word for meaning finding joy in other people's misfortune.
Yeah, and it's not across the board. It's going to be taken the wrong way, but I really like when kids get hurt. Not physically hurt,
but just knocked down.
When knocked down, because they're so rubber anyway. They can take a.
Children are very rubbery.
They can take a fall pretty good.
Don't tell the DHS, by the way.
Right, but when a kid gets hit with a plastic baseball bat and stuff like that, if it's I've seen that video. I've watched a lot of Tosh.0, so I'm sure that's where it's from. But when you see a kid, you can see it from a distance that the kid's going to get hurt, and then it just happens. That's some of the funniest shit I've ever seen.
There's a new one out. Tell me if you enjoy this or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's in slow motion, and it's a child outside cowering behind and hiding behind like an air conditioner unit.
Mm-hmm.
And his brother or his parent, I can't tell which one it is, comes up and shoots him with a Nerf gun.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the sheer abject terror
of the kid.
I
think I have seen that. Yeah.
Does that work for you?
Yeah, because it's funny. I also saw a video recently of, the bit people do where they shove the head of someone that's about ready to blow out their birthday cake candles. Oh. They shove him into the cake, and it was
like a sister going up to her brother.
Yeah, and he just slams
his head directly onto the table, and he passes out. Does he like get knocked out?
Yeah, loved it. Oh my god, that was funny.
I think that was a watch people die inside on Reddit. I want to say,
one of the best Reddit threads. Friend of the show.
I mean, I enjoyed it. Today, as I saw like a dentist chair with like the headrest that looked kind of like a vulva, it reminded me of the Reddit thread. Don't put your dick in that.
Oh, I wasn't familiar with that one.
I enjoy that one as well. Like, I'm not subscribed to it.
Oh,
but when it comes across like the main feed, I celebrate it.
I never look at the main feed of Reddit.
Oh yeah?
No. I just look at the feeds I'm subscribed to.
It's interesting, and I enjoy like catching like the early morning stuff where it's like it's weird how you can kind of see Europe going to bed and America waking up, and it's like, you can see that tidal wave of information, and I always find that interesting.
Yeah.
Like seeing that shift to a global global things being to the top of Reddit versus, oh shit, well, hey, that's weird how the NBA is the 20th thing from on the top of the list. That's not going to be the case in the early morning.
Well, I even noticed that with like the things I just subscribe to, the things I follow, because again, I don't look at the main feed. But
you follow the global feed?
No. I mean, I just the threads that I follow, noticing the global shift within the basically Europe going to bed and America waking up and everything with that. Yeah. Like it's interesting. It's one of the things with Reddit. Do you have a favorite Reddit thread?
A favorite Reddit thread?
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing idiots and cars. Like that's the one I'm going to give probably the most attention as far as those who have followed. And then once again, I'm a baby Reddit or it's not something.
I would qualify myself as I'm probably under 3 years, probably 3 years.
I'm under a year, like under 6 months, even. We'd
still be noobs in Reddit, Redditors.
Probably Bushy. He's an old timey guy.
Yeah,
he's like
he was there when it was gas lights and.
I'm talking 10 years plus.
Yeah,
I remember him being on Reddit 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of the Dunder Mifflin thread. That's fun.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a community that it's probably also because I've posted on there and gotten the most reaction and stuff from it. But I don't post a lot on Reddit anyway. I
don't. Once again, I'm 6 months on, and once again, no one needs to listen to a single fucking thing I ever say.
Well, that's the thing about Reddit versus all social media platforms. It's not things you have to say. It's just playing along with the rules of the thread.
Right.
That's true. I'm driving down the street in Iowa here.
Yeah.
And I see a truck that has a license plate that says Big Tuna on it. And I'm like, okay, well, if I get a chance, I'm going to take a photo of that.
Sure.
I'm going to post it up there because I've never seen that out in the wild.
That's funny.
Here we go. Post it up there.
That's interesting.
And a lot of thumbs up and everything with that. Like, and someone made the identity theft is not a joke, Jim, kind of thing. And
that's good.
This is fun.
That's good.
I like this.
That's fun.
This is nice.
That's fun.
Posed a lot of questions in my multiple watchings of The Office of being like, well, why didn't Michael Scott stay in Andy's room when he stayed with Pam after he busted his testicle? Like when you watch it multiple times, like Andy hurts his testicle in a dance off.
I remember. He ripped his scrotum.
Right. And then he stays with Pam in their room. But no one's staying in the honeymoon suite. Do you understand?
It's a real problem.
And then Michael Scott he still sleeps in the vending machine area.
The only thing I need to know is that Kevin Malone says my dogs are barking, and that's
my dogs are barking.
That's like
you don't want to talk about the hypothetical situation of Michael Scott having to sleep in the vending machine.
We have like
area
between my wife and I.
Is that Borat?
It's Borat. Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
I tried to find like a supercut of all the times Borat said "my wife" on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't show up on an initial search because I wanted to. My wife lately has been on a weird kick where on our Facebook pages, because we're old people and we go on Facebook.
Some of us.
Where all she does is post bad puns,
mm-hmm.
like bad pun memes. Mm-hmm. On my Facebook wall. And that's just like, that's the extent of our interaction on Facebook.
But that's because of your hatred of puns, right?
Because I despise puns.
I don't think the audience knows that you hate puns.
I despise puns. It's one of the lowest forms of humor.
Really?
Categorically.
Interesting.
It's horrible. Like
what about a non-intended pun?
Non-intended pun. Here's the problem with puns is that if it's followed... most puns when made are followed by the face of yeah, you get it, you got it.
You're talking hacky comedy though.
It's fucking hacky,
but
it's not.
But a pun though can happen organically, where it's not intended.
Pun not intended, like, and that like, and you can laugh at that. But how many times is pun not intended? The pun was intended. I'm gonna say 50% of the time.
Well, I'll give you more than that. I'll give you more than 50% of the time. But I
think
pun
not intended.
No, I'm saying pun intended. I'll give you more than 50.
No, but when people say pun not
intended,
when they say pun not intended, I'm gonna say half the time they meant that pun.
No, I mean, because I think if you're sharp enough, you can realize that you just did it as you're saying it, and you're like.
So instead of saying pun not intended, you make the dog face where you say, "You get it? Get it?"
That's the hacky version, though. That's the hacky version of the comedy that you're.
That's most
that
people
you don't like, but
most people who make puns.
But people that make puns versus people that stumble upon a pun in the moment. Like, I think it's a...
And then as soon as they say pun not intended, and then they think about it for another second, and then go, you get it, you get it, you get it.
Well, yeah, but those are still hacky. Those are still hacky.
It's still
people.
hacky.
Yeah, but I'm saying a
majority of people making puns are doing so in a hacky manner. When I say majority, I mean 98%.
But you're saying like making a pun, like going out of their way to make a pun.
People who accidentally make a pun are doing it in a hacky manner.
98% of them?
Yes.
That's a ridiculous number to put on that.
I'm just putting it out there. No, I mean
I think that's a very high number. I also think that you can organically stumble upon a pun that is funny. Yeah. I agree with you that it can be a hacky device that people use, and then they make the face and they do all the things. They give the elbow nudge, that's separate.
Feed that beast a little bit, and they're gone. Mm-hmm. They're out the door.
I know.
They're running
host a podcast with a guy.
Mile and a half, just saying fucking nonsense and trying to loop anything and everything into a pun.
Yes. Because they're chasing
and that's annoying as fuck.
Yeah, they're chasing that laughter dragon. And
it's not funny.
Yeah.
And that's why it's the lowest form of comedy.
One
of.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with you that that's like that's a very hacky version of comedy.
And people aspire to that.
People get a very cheap... Yeah.
Dad joke.
But
I'm the king of dad jokes. Watch out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the shit. That's the shit I have to live with.
But that's the thing with like, I know, don't keep making it back.
It's a dad joke.
I don't keep taking it back to The Office, but like, that's when they took back That's What She Said, and they made that into... because that's one of the lowest forms of hacky comedy.
Absolutely. That's What She Said followed directly with the camera look. You see it? You see it? You see it? You get it?
Well, no. I mean,
no, that was Michael Scott. Every time he said
there was a nuance to it.
It was always direct to camera. It was good.
No, it wasn't. No. It wasn't.
Okay. Do me a favor right now. Okay. I'm commanding you. Mm-hmm. That's super weird. Pull up a supercut of That's What She Said on of The Office.
It's not going to translate in audio.
I know, but
But here, I can go through. I can tell you that the nuances.
Most of the time, he said when he would say that's what she said, it was almost immediately followed with a camera look.
No, they replaced it. They replaced it a lot, and they did it early on too, where when Michael Scott had to retire from comedy, and then Jim started baiting him with like, "You think you can go all night?" Like, "Oh, that's going to be really hard." And finally, he did. That's what she said, and he does it to The Office. He does the. He's playing to The Office. He's not playing to the camera. They did do later on though is when Michael Scott would say that's what she said. They would go to Jim, and Jim would look at the camera. But that's, to me, that's a nuance that's needed to make it not hacky.
The only time that's what she said was funny was when it was under his breath, and it defeated, like, he has to subdue to his primal urge of doing this stupid bit. That's what she said. Like, that's funny.
No. There was multiple times when Dwight got a concussion and had to go to the hospital. And I forget what the doctor said, but the doctor said something, and like if something gets red or swollen, and she's like that, and he said that's what she said, and he's like, that's my joke. Like, he gets so pissed off, and it happens again in Willy and the Wonka, Willy Wonka and the Charlie. Jeez.
One more time.
Willy Wonka, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory episode.
This is his first time.
Is it, well, because it's always mixed up. Is it Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Is it Willy Wonka and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Well, okay. Do you want to go through it?
Anyway, I'm saying
the name of the book by not Shell Servicing. Fuck. R.L. Stein. Fuck.
It's not R.L. Stein.
But
anyway, the nuance of that's what she said joke.
His
in the
estate's gonna sue us now because I can't remember his name.
Well, are they? Do they do that? Are they very litigious?
They're very litigious as far as like people not quoting Charlie and the Chocolate Factory correctly.
I got a good lawyer. Don't worry.
You got a good lawyer?
Yeah. Well, I got one that I'm scared of. How about that?
Ooh.
So, but there's their use of that's what she said in The Office was to poke fun at, and then to almost bring it back. It's like you saying that joke a million times and it becomes funny again.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought more often than not it was expertly done.
Yeah.
And it becomes
maybe I just hate what that's what she said like has done to popular culture.
And understandable. And that part of the reason why they did it was because of what it had done to culture, because of what it had become.
Sure.
And then Michael Scott is definitely that character where he would find it funny. He would do it at any point in time that he possibly could.
Okay. So, sure. Whatever. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. This is fine.
Still not a pun, but
I don't like. Well, that's a good question. Whether or not that's what she said is a pun, like technically, I don't know.
Let's get the exact definition of a pun.
Pun's
like pornography. You know it when you hear it, but
not Arlie Ermy. That's not the guy's name.
Are you worried about getting sued by Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? Is it Willy Wonka and the Wonka's Chocolate Factory?
Right. So it's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is the original novel written by damn it! I was gonna hope it was.
His name is not fuck. Damn it!
It's not. That's where I'm gonna get sued. You're searching it right now, and just search book. Oh, you should probably go book or author.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Roald Dahl.
Okay.
Roald Dahl. So R.L. Stein was not that far off.
Well, it kind of was. A pun is a play on words, sometimes on different senses of the same word, and sometimes in similar sense or sound of different words. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the original book was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Just popping back and forth. Okay.
And then it was the Gene Wilder film was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
That's what doesn't sound right off the tongue. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory doesn't sound right to me.
And then it was the bullshit version with Johnny Depp. The what's his name?
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton went back to the original title of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Gotcha. Never a huge fan.
There's a sequel novel, Charlie in
the Glass Elevator. I think I read that book.
I mean, I liked Roald Dahl. for the most part.
You don't have to suck up to me. He's not going to sue us. His estate's not going to sue us.
Please, the estate of Roald Dahl. I enjoyed.
You don't have to do this backhanded.
I
really enjoyed all his work.
I really enjoyed his work. I celebrate it. Yeah. But I share it with my children.
I have a poster.
I haven't. I bet some of my children would enjoy Shel Silverstein. Backhanded compliment. Not Roald
Shel
Dahl.
Silverstein or Roy Dahl?
Roald Dahl. Roald Dahl. That's a funny word. It's a funny name. Roald.
His name is Roll?
Roald. Roald, I believe. Go hit backspace on your shit.
I don't have to hit backspace. It's just having another tab. Okay. I'm not a barbarian.
Roald. Roald Dahl.
I feel like... Okay.
Also British. Wrote James and the Giant Peach. And what was the one with the weird, the twisted people? Can we just look at all of Roald Dahl's work, please? So I can remember what 5th grade was.
I guess. Just so we don't get sued.
And his state. Roald Dahl's estate is Matilda, The Witches, Fantastic Mr. Fox, BFG, The Twits. That's what that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
George.
I say, fuck this guy. Fuck his estate. I don't know.
He died in 90 at the age of 74. How old do you think Jim Varney was when he died, by the way?
Jim Varney.
This came up in conversation earlier today.
Jim Varney.
How old was Jim Varney when he died? You tell me before you look it up.
I'll go 76.
Jim Varney was 76 when he died, says Bobby.
And you got to remind me who Jim Varney was, because that name sounds familiar. Ernest. Okay.
How old was Ernest P.
How do you spell Varney?
Varney.
I would say he was older. Now that I know who he is.
He died. He was 50.
No way.
He was 50, motherfucker, when he died.
Wow.
Can you fucking believe that? Motherfucker was 50.
Wow.
And I see this picture and it reminds me of somebody, like that greasy mop top. Oh. Jim Varney. There's a stand-up routine from 79. It's really
That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
What did he die of? Do we know?
I believe it was lung cancer.
Oh, because he
was an avid smoker.
Then that makes more sense.
I remember I was talking with Cole today. It was illness and death. Friend of the show, and talking about how Ernest Saves Christmas was my one of my strongest talking points as why we should go to the theater more.
Okay.
Because it was okay, Mom, I wanted to go watch Ernest Saves Christmas a lot. And you said, no, we'll wait till it comes out on video. It took literally 6 months for it to come out on video.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't Christmas time and it sucked.
Yeah, because it's not Christmas.
It's not Christmas. We're watching Ernest Saves Christmas in June, Mom. Okay?
That seems like you should make a party around it or something like that.
We should go to the movie theater as a family.
Yeah. To
go to the movie theater when it's time to watch movie. It took forever for it to come back out on VHS.
Yeah.
And now...
Well, they're probably biding time, wait till you can get a Christmas push a little bit,
No, also, it's just
It used to take a long time for a movie to get out.
The window, Bobby. That's what they called it. That's what they call it in the biz.
Mm.
They call it the window.
I lived in L.A. I know what the biz is.
I went to L.A. to go watch Price is Right.
Anyway.
And, so the window has, been increasingly shorting. And
well, yeah, of course. Now it's
now
we just eliminated the middleman.
Now there's no window.
But
the window's been broken.
The window
and that's the thing. Are you familiar with the whole Trolls World Tour thing at all?
I'm familiar that it came out on a digital release.
Yeah,
and was fairly popular. I don't know.
I mean, it was pretty popular. But the thing is that AMC movie theaters, not the television channel.
Yeah.
Not American Movie Classics. I don't know what their opinions on Trolls World Tour is, but I'm sure they've got one.
Mm-hmm.
That they just haven't announced yet. Anyhow, AMC movie theaters, they said, fuck you, Universal Studios, for releasing this movie direct to VOD in the middle of a pandemic when all the theaters are closed. Fuck you. We need to preserve the window. I cannot fucking believe it. We're not going to let any Universal movies be shown in our theaters ever. Fuck you. That wasn't the official statement, but it was very close to it.
Paraphrasing.
It was, slight.
Is that a pun?
Is paraphrasing a pun?
No, what you said. I'm just joking with you.
Anyhow, so, them being so angry that I can't believe in the middle of a pandemic that you would release a movie straight to VOD that you were planning on doing a wide release for. I can't believe it, which I think is absolutely crazy, kooky, ridiculous. That movie was set to release, I think, a week or two after, we went to lockdown. Mm-hmm. So we're talking, I want to say it was originally supposed to be.
This is because of COVID, right?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Why we went on lockdown and everything like that, right?
I don't follow the papers.
Oh.
I follow the trades. Okay. Variety and such, because I know the biz.
So there was a war.
Yeah,
there was a war going on.
Yeah. So it's so that's just starting to break down now. They're oh, maybe we will.
Is it a bluff?
It was a strong. Listen, here's the deal. If movies started showing in the beginning of July, then they might hold their ground a little bit longer. But I don't think they are. They're on the verge of bankruptcy as it is. So. AMC theaters, yeah.
Because it could go either way. Universal's
owned by Comcast, baby. They're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere. But the thing is the production value. The only reason why it hasn't gone to VOD before is because the production value of the movies requires that box office intake.
I wondered, I'd love to see the dial factor. Okay, so
have you bought a $20 movie?
Yes.
Which one did you guys get?
It was it Little Women? I think. Oh no, I think we bought. Was it two? No, it was just the one. Maybe. I think it was Little Women. Mm-hmm. I think it was just Little Women.
No, it was Emma. That's what you guys bought.
So two. That's it.
You guys bought both.
We didn't buy. We rented for a 48-hour.
Right.
I said, "I love you, my wife."
I was gonna say, I know who wears the pants in your family.
Yeah.
If Emma and Little Women are the two movies that you paid $40 for.
I'm content with watching Waterworld for the 5th time in the past 2 months, so don't mind me.
But I think that price point though is just ludicrous.
Oh no, I think it's perfect. I think it's the appropriate amount. If I can do a gather of friends, here it is. Everybody's talking about this great movie. Let's go ahead and watch this movie together as a group, as an experience. If I put 5 people together at $20, that's $4 a head.
But do you want to kill the movie theaters? Do you want?
I don't. I think that there is communal viewing and communal relations is a thing that I think is important. I really do. I think that, that's why.
Now you're romanticizing the movie.
Why going to church is important. Also, hold on. We've talked about this before about seeing a comedian live and the laughs that can happen in live. I think that there is some other nonverbal situation that can happen with a drama movie. Where everybody feels each other's sense of grief or whatever that
or horror, like a horror
or
movie.
Horror. People feel each other's emotions.
Yeah,
in a communal space. That if there's just some kind of weird higher frequency thing that we don't feel, we don't see, we can't hear, we can't touch, we can't smell. That we feel some kind of higher level connection with other people's emotions in a communal sense. That's why we have mob mentality. That's why we have, panic, in streets, because people can feel it. You can feel in a crowd when shit's about ready to turn. You can, when you're in a group of 20 people and 2 people want to kick each other's ass, you can feel it.
Yeah.
You can feel that in the air, that electricity. So that is captured inside the theater. It's captured inside going to a play or a Broadway.
A performance of some sort.
Any kind of performance.
Yeah.
You can
some better than others.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's certainly also present inside a movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
And to take that away, I don't know. But we are on a track where it's all we're gonna. And you can talk shit about Martin Scorsese, and I think he's a little bit wrong, and I think he's a little bit old man yelling at the sky a little bit
about the Marvel movies.
But we there is certainly a trend of these are slowly becoming more. The theater experience is meant for a thrill ride. It's meant for amusement. It's the same as I'm going to an amusement park. I'm here to go.
It is and it isn't. I mean, it's both of those things at the same time. Because again, you're right. It's a little bit of old man yelling at the sky, but it's also he's got a point.
Yeah,
because it's not cinema. It's a movie
right.
And that's what, from what I remember, that's what he said. It's not cinema.
And I think that it's. And
if you want to get down in the nitty gritty of it, it's true. There's an approach to it. I mean, we were watching. Okay, so we were watching, what was that? Little Big, the Russian pop band from Eurovision.
Yeah.
Before we started doing this,
fabulous.
So we just stumbled upon this band.
Absolutely.
It was great. It was great. The first video, I wasn't.
You weren't digging on it so much.
I
connected with it.
It wasn't as creative as the following two videos.
I think that was a Eurovision where it's like you can do a studio, like you are locked in a studio, like you're on a stage.
But a lot of their approach to and again, as we went through their discography catalog of music videos, you can see that their later work. And again, everyone and search Little Big right now. No,
not Little Big Town. Go ahead and say
Little Big Town.
Little Big. Russia.
That's about all. That should get you there.
I was looking at their videos.
Little Big Eurovision.
It was like millions of views.
But
hold on,
Skibbity,
443 million.
Yeah.
So,
but their approach. Hold on, wait. Hypno Dance was one of them.
Hypno Dancer, 100 million views.
But that one, with the little things of like the pencils being cigarettes and
That's weird.
Yeah. But again, that's a creative approach where you're taking real time to think about it. Is it nonsense? Is it crazy and zany? Sure, but there's this little bit of element to it that you are thinking of
through line,
and you are executing it very well.
Yeah,
and I appreciate that much more than zany just for zany's sake. And again, going to that line between movie and cinema.
Sure.
It's if I can see your intent, if I can see that you're trying to do, not just do difficult for difficult sake, because I go back to like Uncut Gems I think Uncut Gems was the last movie we saw in theaters.
Oh.
And I thought it was fine, but it was also like, we're trying to make a good movie. We're trying to show you that we're good filmmakers making a good movie.
I thought that was just a weird Kevin Durant passion project.
Kevin Garnett is who you're thinking of, not
Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett.
Who's Kevin Garnett?
Kevin Garnett is someone with a very unfortunate name.
Does he hang out with you?
I don't know. I don't know a Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett played for the Timberwolves and the Boston Celtics and went back to the Timberwolves.
Did he ever sail on a boat?
Shit sail?
Like a ship.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm going to ask him later.
Okay.
Friend of the show.
He is a friend of the show. I mean, Minnesota, so yeah. We all know each other. We
just hang out.
Yeah, it's fine.
But yes, you're 100%. You want to see that.
And not to say that like the Marvel movies didn't have cinematic qualities to them, but it's not cinema in a way that like it's a true art piece or anything like that. It's much more of a blockbuster movie. I'm there, much to your point of I'm in a theater, and I want to hear all the explosions in the Dolby Digital surround sound.
It's more about like you shouldn't have to translate the explosions and the visual effects and being engulfed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really like when you're standing in front of a 40-foot screen,
mm-hmm.
you're engulfed.
Well, have you ever seen an IMAX movie?
No, I haven't. And I really want. And honestly, like when I found that Tenet, Christopher Nolan's movie, which has been delayed twice now,
okay,
and is now on indefinite hold.
Because he doesn't want to video on demand it?
No, yeah. I mean, he was supposed to be like the hard charge of mid-July release.
We're going to do it.
We're fucking doing it. I'm not moving my date.
Mm-hmm.
And then he kicked it to middle of August, and then they said, or maybe it was this weekend. I don't remember. And he's like, no, we're gonna put it on.
Was he going to put it in IMAX though?
Yeah, because it was shot on IMAX.
Mm-hmm.
So
the only one I've ever saw and it was fucking phenomenal was Dark Knight. I mean,
right. I mean that's the.
But that is an experience on top of an experience.
You want to talk? Yeah, like So when you're inside a theater and it's a large screen, a 40-foot screen, or in an IMAX where it's an 80-foot screen where it's wrapping around you, and the sound is
it's also steeper seating
surrounding you.
So your seating is actually much steeper than a normal movie theater.
So that's to cut down the distance between you and the screen.
Correct. Yeah. So you are right on top of it.
You are engulfed. Yeah. Engulfed. That's what's amazing about going to the theater. Like I don't need to go watch Little Women or
on IMAX
or Emma in IMAX. I don't need to be engulfed.
Yeah.
In IMAX, I like if I were to watch a Marvel movie
in IMAX. I would be interested in that.
In IMAX by myself, would it be as enjoyable as being alone? I mean, being in a crowd with in a normal theater. Maybe. I mean, probably.
I would do that.
I'd probably enjoy myself. I've had some bad experiences in theaters where it's just people talking and I hate it. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, then again, I'm an asshole. That's all. Also, you get a couple drinks in me and I got to crack jokes. I can't keep my mouth shut. It's bad. My wife hates watching movies with me because it's just like, well, there's a joke. I gotta take this.
It's like Mystery Science Theater.
As a child, I wanted so bad to like be able to do Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Did you see any of the Marvel movies in theaters?
Yeah, like I'd say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know, some amount. Yeah,
I never saw any of them in theaters.
Oh yeah,
no, not a single one.
I went and watched Black Panther twice.
Okay. Because you're not racist.
Well, that was the first thing I wanted to say. If somebody accuses me, it's like, listen.
I saw Black Panther.
Saw Black Panther twice
in theaters.
So
before VOD.
So you don't get to talk to me about how I should and should not use any kind of nomenclature. Yeah. Well, that one was like the first time. I'm like, I really enjoyed Fruitvale Station.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I'm trying to remember the guy's name who directed Black Panther. I'm at a loss.
It wasn't Michael B. Jordan who was in.
He was, but Fruitvale's. Michael B. Jordan was in Fruitvale.
That's why I brought him up.
And Fruitvale Station, and also created like Mike Kugler because it's cooler.
Oh, Mitchell Horowitz.
It's not Mitchell Horowitz, but the guy's name's like Ryan Kugler.
Okay.
And it reminds me every time I was like, oh, he's got a weird name. It's the Cougs.
Which is a movie that should be made. That trailer at the end of that Community episode.
I love that episode of Community. Oh. So Ryan Coogler, he made Fruitvale Station about a guy getting shot on it was kind of a slice of life in San Francisco, and then
great IMAX movie.
Guy getting eventually shot in the back by a cop. It was a nice little movie, nice little slice of life. And then he went on to make Creed. Which I really enjoyed Creed. I
couldn't stand Creed.
You couldn't stand Creed? Why? Because of the musician stuff or what?
I mean, I tried for 20 minutes to watch it and just couldn't get it. Couldn't do it.
And maybe that's just me and my weird soft spot for boxing movies, but I
love boxing movies.
Especially
that's the only reason why I did it. Was because I love Rocky so much.
There's an absolutely fantastic, absolutely not earth-shattering, but really excellent and excellently executed single take boxing match where
later on
it's in the middle of the film,
not the first 20 minutes,
no, where the lights change, like it's a big crowd going crazy, but then like when he becomes focused, like the lights around everything just go down and he's just sitting there and it's like one-on-one, and it was all single take stuff. All single take.
One single take, or just
one? I say there might have been a couple hidden edits in there that I don't know about. But
seems like it would be hard for an entire fight.
It wasn't. It was like a
round.
It was like a 3-minute segment. I think. Anyway, it was really good, and I thought it was really well executed, and I thought it was a really great take of reviving the Rocky franchise, which I think was absolute garbage.
Yeah, but again, like going back to because you're just what you said kind of reminded me of like Martin Scorsese's comments on the Marvel movies. It's the narrative of the movie versus the cinematic execution of the movie.
I thought the narrative was good.
But the reason why I had to shut off is like it's so heavy-handed. I get it. I get where this movie is going before. I don't need to watch this movie to know how it ends. And that is to me like a good movie.
Sure.
I shouldn't know the ending before I even watch the movie. I could tell from the trailer how that movie was going to end.
That's a problem with trailers.
It's the problem with trailers now because, I mean, you watch an old trailer and it shows you the whole movie.
Oh, my God. Well, no, they show this.
They show, like, the gags, I guess, of what it would be.
Trailers are the worst. Let's just put that out
They
there.
are. You should watch, like, half a trailer. They're like a blues song. Like, every blues song should be, like, 2 minutes shorter than it ever is.
Cole Gibbs is wondering if you hated blues today. And I'm like,
yeah.
I don't remember. But Bobby's got weird things that he hates.
Yeah, I do. But it's true. It's like every blues song should be 2 minutes shorter. And then every trailer should be 30 seconds at max. Like,
I mean, yeah, I'd rather just go look at production stills just to get a feel of what are you trying to do.
Well, I don't need to see a trailer to watch a movie.
I'd rather just go. I like going in fresh, as Frank Costanza said. Just let me go. I want to go in fresh.
But just even looking at the cover of Creed, I'm like, okay, I get it. He rises up from nothing and then he becomes the champion.
But he's not nothing. No, he doesn't.
He just rises up and he becomes a champion. Like
he fights it. He fights it's good. I mean, give it a shot.
I did.
I'm not saying do yourself a favor.
It's not a do yourself a favor.
It's not a do your favor, but it's worth it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyhow,
I think but going back to my point of that though, is that the narrative in the movie, again, most of the Marvel movies, I see Martin Scorsese's point of, I know Iron Man's going to survive. I don't need to know.
But he doesn't.
Yeah. Spoiler. But it takes, 15 movies? In total?
Yeah. And we've talked about, have we talked about that with like AMC and stuff about like just people dying? Let people die. Because also, it's consequences.
But I don't go into a Marvel movie thinking like, oh, okay, yeah, this is the one where Captain America gets it. Like I'm watching the story, I'm watching everything play out, I'm watching how everything resolves. But I don't for a second think that any of the characters are going to die until they get to the movies that are heavy-handed, like Endgame. I can deduce that something's going to end.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of just like that's reality. Like reality in real life. I like being grounded in reality a little bit. Where if you go into a fight 50 times, you're probably gonna fucking get killed.
Right.
There's a chance, like one of those 50 times, you're gonna get killed.
Yep.
Like just straight up murdered. And that's my problem with Marvel movies. Like, I specifically remember Civil War. It was a Civil War trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And was it
Captain America?
Yeah, Captain America Civil War.
Iron Man fight at the end, or what?
No. There was a scene shown in the trailer where War Machine Don Cheadle, Nunchucks, he is being cradled in Tony Stark's arms.
Right.
And I'm like, oh shit, you're gonna kill War Machine? And then in the movie, there was a weird thing where accidentally War Machine gets shot down. And it's like, well, shit, no. Oh my God, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
He almost died. But then it's like, oh no, he's fine.
He's fine.
I mean, he's paralyzed.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh.
But he didn't die.
He didn't die. I'm like, oh, and at about the same time, that was about when Glenn almost died on Walking Dead. I'm like,
what, he hit
let these motherfuckers die.
Yeah.
Let them die.
Mm-hmm.
just you're not in these.
But it
these
shows.
if we're supposed to believe that these are real people with real emotions,
Correct.
and we're really supposed to care. Yeah, they're superheroes, but they need to have faults and they need to have weaknesses. And what's the greatest weakness? Being able to fucking die, and after getting hit by 3 missiles or whatever the fuck ever,
falling out of the sky.
Falling out of the sky at 500 feet, you need to be able to fucking die.
Yep.
And that didn't happen, and it pissed me off.
Yeah,
a lot.
Where I would say that Martin Scorsese is correct, where it's more. It's
a
not
roller
cinema.
coaster. It's not cinema. It's not cinema in that.
That doesn't mean it's bad.
I think cinema for me, and let me make some clarifications because I've had these conversations on multiple times. Okay. Anything and everything is art. Yeah. Anything and everything is art and it doesn't matter if it's the creator or the consumer. If either of those parties sees something and says it's art, it's art.
Yep.
Marvel movies, get this, are art.
They are.
Are they? This distinction is it a high art?
No. I wouldn't even go there.
It's not,
because that's a class system within art.
And that's
that doesn't matter.
As far as like for me, if it's art or not, and does it get certain passes from the First Amendment and stuff like that.
I don't think they talk about any Marvel movies in the First Amendment, but anyway.
I mean, we're going to get there. Marvel movies in the First Amendment.com. Yeah. So I think we can have grades of quality of art.
Yeah, but that's all subjective. That doesn't matter.
But it's all incredibly subjective.
Yeah, so there's no.
And that's where the term cinema comes from me. Like cinema and high art. I think that's what Martin Scorsese was trying to go with. Is it film?
Sure, but I agree with that. Like, is it deserving of winning Best Picture? I can understand his frustration if it's being nominated for Best Picture or if it's winning awards for Best Picture. Because is it the best movie being made or is it just a fun ride? Like I can understand that because he's both right and wrong in the same sentence.
Right.
Because I agree and disagree with what he's saying.
I'm gonna go and say,
but art is art. It's all art.
It's all art.
It's fine.
It's art, and it's completely all art.
And to judge one as higher or lower, it's like you judging
a
pun being hacky comedy and someone else finding it funny.
And that's the thing I'm talking about. First Amendment, right? With puns being hackneyed, right? And it's a ranking system, and it's all individualized, and it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. My opinion on whether I think something's hackneyed shouldn't affect your enjoyment of something.
Correct.
Or at least it shouldn't.
And vice versa.
And if I say so, then I'm an asshole. Mm-hmm. That's the end game.
Yep.
End game.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. That's the end game. Is that it is. If I tell you what you can and cannot enjoy, that makes me an asshole. Mm-hmm. And that's all there is to it. Yep. Now, can we as a culture and a community and a society say that this has a little bit more merit, this has a little bit more value than this? Sure. But also it's not some authoritarian. If you enjoy a Marvel movie, you're not a bad person.
I enjoyed most of them.
Well, you are a bad person. God, this is not working out. But you can enjoy things on different levels, and that's perfectly fine. What cinema is, I think really Scorsese was going after. This is high art. It's not, and I'm going to go and say, there's a class system. And in my opinion, Marvel movies are not a high art. Some movies are. Some of the Marvel movies, I think, can rival that.
It's an interesting approach but it's an interesting approach in the totality of the series in the totality of the movies, it's an interesting approach to storytelling.
I love it.
Because I remember when they were coming out individually, being like, I don't get it. Are these Captain America movies really that good? Like fucking Thor?
Sure.
Are you serious?
Thor I didn't like, but that's just because I have a dig with Kenneth Branagh.
But the Thor movie surprised me the most, honestly.
Don't do me.
They are the ones that I was like, no, I'm not going to like these.
Yeah.
And it was mainly, I thought Thor Ragnarok was really good, actually.
Thor Ragnarok. I love that guy.
But
Taiki Waititi, right? I can never. I'm bad with non-English names, by the way, and non.
But what I'm saying is that in the totality of their storytelling process,
it's amazing.
That's a really interesting take. So whatever it takes to spoon feed the people in order to get them to go along with such a 10 year movie or 10-year story.
For me, the idea that the only way we can really satisfy the masses is if we tell a story over 10 years. That's not the way we tell stories.
Well,
we've been told by so many people that, our attention spans can be only measured in nanoseconds. So the idea that we're only going to be able to tell this, no, we're going to tell the story and we're going to tell it over a process of 10 years, over 30 movies, 30 hours or whatever.
60 sure. hours.
It's a long time. That's the only way that, we're able to tell the story and people come back for it. Year after year.
That's a brilliant experiment that worked out.
And
it's a weird thing with our shortening attention spans. We also crave that longevity of a story being played out. And if it can keep your attention that long, and especially if you can keep your attention with multiple years passing between, you're supposed to put it in your own order, the order that it's supposed to go in, but it's not coming out chronologically. Yeah. That's very interesting. So again, is Scorsese right? Yes. Is he wrong? Yes. But that's why it's art, though. That's why you get to have your opinion and I don't get to do my stuff. And at the end of the day, that's
why I love the Fast and Furious series, and that's why this could be a podcast.